Hi, it's Gusen and welcome to an introductional video for EHTML or extended HTML. It's a library or framework that can be considered as a sort of template language, which is completely based on simple HTML as it indeed doesn't include anything but HTML elements and attributes. With this library, you can make a lot of routine stuff by writing simple HTML code instead of using JavaScript. And in this video, I want to show how we can build very simple blog app so you can see the main idea behind this library and what kind of things you can achieve by using it. So the app is already implemented and it's available on GitHub. You can find the link to it in the description of this video. Now I'm just gonna show you how we can build it step by step, but first let's see what we'll have eventually. So I am already in this directory, so all I need to do is just run the command npm run app and go to this link and open it. So this is an index page with simple form that we can use for publishing posts, and it has basic validations, as you can see. Here we need to specify our email, pick a date, and title for our article. Let's say it's our first article with some content. And now we created our first post, and you can see that we also have here comment section where we can specify our email, and you can see that we also have here validations. So let's add the first comment like on the first, and let's add another comment for other person like on the second one. Okay, great. Now we can see a list of comments. Now we can go to the list of posts, but we don't actually have a list of posts. Let's add another post for other person. So let's pick a date, and it's our second article with some another content. Okay, now we see two created posts, and you can notice that we have a pagination with standard parameters. Here page is 0 and size is 3. So to see if it works, we can add two more posts. So let's do this. Again, we pick mail, date. It's our third article. It's very interesting. Now let's add another one. Again, we pick a mail and we pick a date. It's our fourth article with another exciting content. And now you can see that we have a link to the next page. Let's click on it. And now page is 1 and size is obviously the same. And of course we can go back. I also want to mention that this app uses in-memory storage, so every time we reload our server, we have clean data on our backend. So let's see how blank pages look in our app. Let's restart our server. And now let's restart it. Okay, now you can see that we don't have any posts. And if we open post that is not created yet, we see that it's not found. So before we start building these pages, let's take a look at our endpoints in the Postman. Here we have a simple post request for creating post. Let's test it. Okay, great. Now we can get this post. Also, we can add a comment to the post. Obviously, we can get a list of posts. And we even can see if this page is the last or not. So let's go to the index page and let's build this simple form. So now we're in index.html file. Here we need to first of all include our HTML library script in the head element. And we see here two custom elements. First one is HTML element, which loads another HTML file, which is served on the URL that we specify in data src attribute. And this element can be very useful, especially when we want to split our big HTML files into smaller ones, so we can much easier to modify them. And another element is eTurboLink. Yes, famous turbolinks, which were introduced first in Ruby on Rails. For those of you who don't know, turbolink is a simple link, but instead of redirecting to the page, it just loads the body of the page that we want to redirect to into the current document of the page where user is already on. So I think turbolinks fit the conception of HTML very well, as they allow us to make our multiple page applications look like a single page applications, which is great. And now we can go to the form, which is served in the file at post.html file. So let's go there and let's build our form step by step. So first of all, we need element ifForm. This element provided by HTML to send form information in JSON format. So we need to add in our form all the input fields with attribute name, so it can be used as a key in JSON object that we'll send to the server. Also, we need a button where we can specify additional information about the request in attributes, what kind of URL we need to use, and what kind of request method for this endpoint. Also, we can add Ajax icon for our request, and of course we need to attach an event for this form so it can send information to the server. We need to specify the response name so we can use it in data actions on response attribute, where we can tell to the form what has to be done after the response arrives. Here we just need to redirect to the created post in TurboStyle, and as you can see, we use here ID of the post, which is returned in the response body, and we use the name of the response that we specified in data response name. So everything is quite clear and explicit. So let's check it out if it works. Let's restart our page. So you can see that we created empty post. It's not good. Let's add front-end validation. But of course, in general, we have to always consider backend validation as well. But it's kind of out of topic of this video. So just by adding simple attributes, we can add validation to our form. So let's do this. Let's start with simple required attributes for our form and check it if it works. Let's reload it and try. Okay, now we see that we have error messages and we cannot simply send empty post. But we also need to add validation patterns because I can submit email with wrong format. Let's see. Yeah, you see that I can send email with invalid format. So to fix this issue, we can add data validation pattern, which can have predefined values like email or date. But you can also specify your custom validation pattern via regex. Now let's check if it works. Yeah, and now you can see that user email must have email form. But this message, of course, is not user-friendly. We also can add some attributes to make our error messages more appealing. So let's check it out if it works. Yeah, and now you can see we have user-friendly error messages. But let's add some styles to them, as we used to have error messages in red color or something like that. And let's check it again. All right, now you can see that we have user-friendly error messages with applied styles. Okay, great. Let's create a post. Let's pick email and date and now let's build this page. Let's go to the post.html file. So the first thing we need to do is to extract URL param ID from this URL. So we can fetch the post with this ID. For that, we can use ePage with URL template, where we can specify a pattern for our URL. And we can see that we expect here ID param. So we can use it inside of this template. And then we can use eJSON for fetching our posts. It makes a GET request by specific URL, where actually we use URL param ID. Also, we can specify Ajax icon for our request. And of course, we have to define the name of expected response. And in the attribute data actions on response, we map our response to some template with ID post template. So as you can see, we use the same name as we specified in data response name. So again, everything is clear and explicit. So let's add this mapping template where we must specify our object name, which we want to map to this template. And inside of this template, we need to handle two cases. First one, where a post is not found. For this stuff, we use if template, where we specify data condition to display, where we check if the status code of post response is 404. Another if template we use for the case when status code is 200. Here we display all the information via attribute data text, where we can use body of our response. And now we can add comment section. And again, we can use if template for the case when a post doesn't have any comments, and we display a message that a user can be the first who can comment. And we have another if template with opposite condition, where we can display all our posts. For doing that, we use if for each template, which has basically two attributes. In first one, we specify a list from the response we want to display. Another attribute defines the name of each template, which can be used inside of this template, as you can see. We can also display information via data text attribute. Also, we construct our form here. Nothing special. It's almost the same as we used in the form for adding posts. The only difference here is the actions on response. Here we just map our response to the comment template, empty values of our input fields so we can easily add another comment, and we hide a message that a post doesn't have any comments. Now we need to add mapping template for a comment. And this template called reusable, where we can again have to specify data object name attribute, so we can use this variable inside of this template. And this template can be mapped multiple times, as we need to be able to add several comments. And also we add some turbo links to different places in our app. So this page will be rendered like this. And now let's go to the list of posts and see how we can construct this page. So let's go to the post.html file. So here we again have ePage URL template with URL which contains two parameters, page and size. And inside of this template we have JSON, where we use these URL parameters in data src custom attribute. Also we can add Ajax icon for our request. And as always, we have to specify the name of the response we use in the data actions on response. Here we again map our response to some template, and inside of this mapping template we again use if to handle the case when we don't have any posts, and another if template we use for the case when we actually have some posts, and we use if for each for displaying these posts. Also we use if templates to display the links to the next and previous pages, and in conditions of this if templates we use URL parameters and the flag from the response, which tells us if this page is the last or not. And the last thing we need to do is just to add a turbo link to the index page where we can add our new post. So you can see just 4 pages of HTML code and our simple blog app is ready. And just imagine how it's much easier than using JavaScript code for such things. Actually, I've been always dreaming doing such simple things just by HTML code, and I'm happy that I can do it right now. Of course, this library is very young. First version was released like a week ago, and there are a lot of stuff that I want to include, so this library can be quite powerful. But even now we can do something, right? So basically this is all I wanted to show you in this video. Thank you for watching and your time, and see you.